Young. This topic is the last live stream for my famous in the women in the disability community live stream for Women History Month. All the information below is from the Stella Young website. Stella Young was a comedian, a writer, and an activist. Early life, which is from 1982 to 1986. Stella Young was born on February 24th, 1982, in Stawell, Victoria, to Lynn and Greg Young. Lynn ran a local hairdressing salon, and Greg worked in the family business as a butcher. Later, Greg opened a record shop just down the road from Lynn's hairdressing salon. Stella spent a lot of time at Lynn's salon, at first playing in a cot as an infant, and later helping around the salon after school and in school holidays, answering the phone and doing odd jobs. Lynn and Greg ignored doctors' warnings about the risk of having another disabled child, and Stella's sisters Remy and Maddie were born in 1985 and 1989. My parents did not know what to do with me, so they pretended I was normal, and that worked out quite well for me. And that's a quote from Stella Young. This is an excerpt from a letter that she wrote to her younger self. She said, "Able-bodiedness is not the holy grail. The body that you're in is perfectly fine, perfectly beautiful. In fact, you know that thought that sometimes occurs to you, that you're actually luckier than the other girls because your body is just too different to compare to the models in Dolly. That's a thought you should indulge." Leaving home, which is from 1999 to 2003. In 1999, Stella was accepted to Durkin University in Geelong to study for her Bachelor's of Arts in Journalism and Public Relations. She later completed a graduate diploma in education at the University of Melbourne. Stella learned all about getting around in Melbourne from her friend Caroline Bowditch. Caroline taught her how to catch a train, how to modify her bathroom, and a lot of other tips that would help Stella live independently in the big city. Once settled in Melbourne, Stella became active in the disability community, and hello to who came in, active in the disability community in variety of roles, including membership of the Victorian Disability. My brain is trying to think. Sorry, Victorian Disability Advocacy. Mariah, you can do this. Sometimes I can't say. Sorry, sometimes I can't say words the right way. My bad. It's not advocacy. Hold on. Give me a second. I'm trying to think. And this happens sometimes. My brain will shut itself off when it gets overwhelmed. It's basically you're an ad. Hold on. Like an advocate or somebody that is an how do we explain it? Basically advises other people. I can't think of how to say it. My God, I feel so embarrassed, but I'm gonna try my best. I always do, even if it looks like I don't. Okay, so she was on different councils through her time in leadership roles. So this one is the Victorian Disability. I bet you I'll be able to say it later. I'll just spell it because I can't say it for some reason. The word is ADVISORY, and then it's council. Then you have the ministerial. I think it's my brain is literally shutting off at this word. I don't know why. It's the same word. It's an maybe it's advocate. There we go. There we go. I got it. Advisory. That's what it is. My brain could not say that word. Sorry. Council for the Department of Victorian Communities and Women with Disabilities, Victoria. What's I doing? With a strong interest in issues facing women and young children with disabilities, Stella worked with the Youth Disability Advocate. This is the right word now. Advocacy support to establish the Live Access Project, advocating for better access to live music venues. Um, I like putting the quotes that she said. This is a quote from her that she said. It said, "I started calling myself a disabled woman in a crypt," and I know some people don't like that word, but that's the word she used for herself. After a good 13 years, sorry, a good 13 years after 17-year-old me, which is Stella, not me, started saying crypt. It still horrifies people. I do it because it's the word that makes me feel strong and powerful. It's the word other activists have used before me, and I use it to honor them. And I thought that was really cool because I've never heard anyone say that they use a word that is normally used to demean people, unfortunately, because it was used to probably demean people, to use it for themselves to honor the people before them. Um, Okay, community TV, which is 2003 to 2009. Stella Young was also involved in the community TV, which laid the foundations for her later success in media and comedy. In 2003, Stella joined the community TV show No Limits as one of the founding presenters. No Limits brings your unexpected stories about what it's like living with a disability. I thought this was cool, but of course I was a kid when this happened, and I definitely am not from I am not from Australia, so I probably wouldn't have ever heard about it like until I researched it like I did. So I thought that was interesting. Well, I if since I didn't probably say this because this lady was from Australia. Just because I probably didn't. I'm pretty sure I didn't say that, but probably some of you probably figured that out based on the places I mentioned. Like Melbourne is not in our is not in the U.S. It's in Australia. Presented and produced with disability people as a place to build community and identity. And I thought that was cool because I've never heard of at least not in the States. I don't really, not, maybe at least where I live. I've never heard of a TV service or TV program where it's just about disability people from the disability community, like actually having a voice. I've never actually had that from in Maryland, like at least where I live. I've never have had that, so I thought it was really cool to hear this when I read this about her. In 2005, having not been able to get a job as a school teacher, despite many job interviews and great qualifications, Stella began working at Art Access Victoria. She was working in the disability organization as a step into the workforce and always hoped to work outside of the disability sector. In 2007, Stella went to work in public programs at Melbourne Museum, where she taught kids about bugs, dinosaurs, and other odd and wonderful things. While working at museum, Stella decided to try her hand at stand-up comedy and was a two-time state finalist in the Melbourne International Comedy Festival Raw Comedy Competition. This is another quote by her. I have interaction with children. I have a responsibility to engage well with children so that they don't grow up afraid. One boy asked me, "Are you imaginary?" I thought, how great he sees magic in this. If everyone looking at me, if everyone's looking at me, I might as well say something interesting. I like that quote because I was like, I thought that was really cool that she she was able, even in that moment, she was able to say something inspiring to others. And I mean, of course, it's not her job to do that, but I'm just saying, I just thought that was intriguing. Ramping up and the ABC. This is from 2010 to 2013. In 2010, the Australian government wanted to elevate discussion around disability, around disability, ahead of the implementation of National Disability Insurance Scheme, which is the NDIS. They awarded funding for this purpose to the Australian Broadcasting Corporation, and the disability focused online portal Ramp Up was established. Stella Young became its first and only editor. Ramp Up gave many disabled people the opportunity to write and be published, and Stella herself wrote many articles on the issues of the day. While funding ended for Ramp Up, the disability community was sorry. When funding ended for Ramp Up, the disability community was dismayed when the ABC announced that it would not continue with the site. That's actually for me, that's really sad because I'm sure a lot of people at that time, disability in the disability community, probably that was their only outlet, most likely. At least probably that was probably broadly like invested in. I'm not saying that's maybe not the only outlet, but it probably was one of the major outlets. So it probably devastated a lot of people because I can't say, I mean I don't know what that would be like to being on something and then just being immediately I could imagine it probably was really hard for people that felt like they were being heard, now basically lost their voice there because the funding was lost, so they won't be able to speak in the same way. Stella was deeply disappointed that her community had lost its dedicated space at the national broadcaster, but on a personal level, Stella was now free to pursue many offers she was receiving. In 2012, Stella became engaged to her long term partner. The engagement didn't bring her joy that she hoped for, and after long consideration, she ended the engagement and the relationship a few months later. As a newly single woman, she moved into her own pad in Melbourne's ritziest South Yarra, and barely spent an evening at home. Life was full, hectic, and fun. Alongside multiple appearances on the ABC, SBS, and Channel's 10 The Project, Stella began working on a solo show for the Melbourne International Comedy Festival. In 2000, in 2014, 2014 was a huge year for Stella. It was also her last. In April, she presented her famous talk in Sydney, where she introduced the idea of inspiration porn and explained to the world why she did not want to be anyone's inspiration. Let me be clear about the intent of this inspirational porn. It's there so that non-disabled people can put their worries into perspective. So they can go, oh, well, if that kid who doesn't have legs can smile while he's having an awesome time, I should never, ever feel bad about my life. It's there so that non disabled people can look at us and think, well, it could be worse. I could be that person. And that's a quote from her. I thought that was really interesting because I never thought about, at least this is how, I never thought about this for my life, that I'm not meant to be an inspiration for others. I mean, I know people can learn through me, but wasn't put here to be an inspiration to others. And I thought, I like her because, at least, like, I like learning about her because seems very bold and very sure of herself and very fierce. And, like, I think the world needs a lot more of people that were like her. Visiting the U.S. in 2014. In July, Stella traveled to the U.S. on a cultural vista fellowship, Highlights include a visit to the U.S. State Department and a visit with disability rights pioneer and special advisor of international disability rights, Judy Heumann, a visit to the set of Sesame Street, and meetings with an array of the U.S. disability rights campaigners and activists. Back home in August, Stella's schedule continued apace with writing, media appearances, and planned for her trip to London and Edinburgh Festival in 2015. On December 6, 2014, Stella died suddenly of a suspected aneurysm. She was 32 years old. Her memorial service held at the Melbourne Town Hall on December 19th was attended by more than 1,000 people. I didn't know if anyone had any questions before I say what the next live stream is on. I'm assuming no, but I'm grateful to everyone that was here. And I realized what that word was. It was advisory. I couldn't say it for some reason. That was the word that I was having problems saying. I don't know why. Okay, and so the next live stream will be on Saturday, April 6th at noon or 12 p.m. Just to be clear, because I don't know. I think it's important to say both. EDT, and it will be on the suggested topic of autistic joy, which will be the first live stream for my autism acceptance live stream series for autism acceptance month. I'm not calling it autism awareness because people are aware of autism, and that's why I'm not calling it that. So I know people say it's autism awareness month. I'm not calling it. It's called autism acceptance month because I think everyone should accept autism and stop playing. That's why I'm calling it that. Okay. Thank you guys for watching. I love you guys. Bye.